Hi again, everyone. The sound suddenly shut off, so I will just continue now on the video. I will not make the first part anew. I will just post it as is, and this is then part 2 with the information of the channeling from the blue beings regarding the call to action in this period around the 20th of December till around the 20th of March, and then some information on the period up to 2033. So the last thing I said in the last video was around the 3 main beliefs that are burning away, that are coming to light in the collective at this moment, which is the fear of being seen, it is lack consciousness, any beliefs around lack consciousness, and the disbelief in the potential of humanity. Anything around that will come up. That means that if you hold any disbelief around the potential of humanity, you might have had a period or are in a period where you are thinking more of it, where you're reflecting more of it, more around it, where you're challenged of, about everything that you see playing out in a collective. The reason why these are coming to light is because we're stepping into creation. We are stepping into much higher speed of creating the new. We need to step out. We need to put ourselves out there in any way you are called. And I said, follow the open heart. So if you wonder what to create, or if you have, different ideas, if you're not sure in what direction you feel called, feel into your heart, breathe into your body, and feel into different options, and feel what creates an open heart. That what gives that feeling of an opening in your heart, that's an expansive path for you. The creations that we are stepping into must be free from the energy of holding ourselves back. Now that's why a lot of the beliefs around that is being triggered at this time. That is why we are called to really transform a lot of what we are believing and what we are maybe telling ourselves around our creativity, around our potential, around, whether we're good enough or not, anything around that. They also said, release the belief that you can do something wrong. Choose what lights your heart up the most. Because often we are so afraid of stepping into taking action on something or acting on an inspiration because we're so afraid of doing something wrong. And if we can release that belief that we can actually do something wrong, and understanding that we are actually expanding, we are putting more of the frequency that we are into the world, which will create ripples if we just step into that creation, step into that expression, that will help. They said the new creations must be made out of, or will come from, curiosity, joy, and excitement. And they gave me a really beautiful picture on this, because they said, remember the picture of a child that is blowing the dandelions, after the flower has fallen off, or I don't know what you really call that in English, but all the seeds of the dandelion when the flower is gone. And looking at the child blowing these away and just seeing that joy, the curiosity, and the excitement in their eyes, that feeling, can you just picture that? Can you see that magic, that feeling in that picture and in the experience of that child with that curiosity, with that joy, and with that excitement, we are going to create the new. Now that is a really beautiful frequency to have as a foundation for the new creations. Now the period we are moving into. So they talked a bit about the period from now until 2033. They said that on the 2-year timeline that we are on now first, there is a great chance of more challenges, which I guess isn't a big surprise if you look out in the world now. There will be a lot changing throughout this year. 2024 will be very different. There will be a lot of changes since 2020. The world will look very different. Currently, there are several challenges also coming up in 2025, possibly. If we look at the collective and at the world stage. Now, one of the things, and I have mentioned this before, is that there will be a lot of souls choosing to leave this planet, choosing to exit the human experience, which in our experience is what we call death. They said there will be a tsunami of grief moving through this planet. And with that tsunami of grief, there will be a lot of hearts cracking open. There will be awakenings like never before, they said. There will be, let me just check my notes here. There's so much in this channeling, so I really needed to make some notes. Yes, hearts cracking open. There will be a lot of insights and awakenings like never before. And moving through the emotion of grief, because this is a very natural response in the human, because we are, even though we have the higher perspective, even though we can see the higher perspective, even though we have a more expanded consciousness, it is challenging moving through grief. We do connect with other humans, and when they choose to leave this human experience, it causes a lot of challenging emotions. Now that is okay. It's important not to suppress any of those emotions, but actually moving through them, letting those emotions come in waves and move through the body will clear a lot of distortions that are held in our system, that are actually setting us up for, or preparing us for, what we often term as the new earth. What I said, when you are standing in a situation where you're meeting people in grief, first and foremost, meet them where they're at. See them, understand their emotions as you can. Many in this community are, have a heightened sensitivity, a very deep empathy, so that can be easy for many of us to really feel and meet them and take them in, help them to move through that emotion. But also stand in your light. Hold the higher perspective, because from a higher perspective, these souls are actually choosing to leave their body. There can be many, many reasons why they're choosing to leave their body. They can be done with their purpose or their mission here. It might be that the life they've lived have caused so many challenges that there's too much to move through, to clear, in order to be able to keep the body alive in this frequency that we are receiving and that we are moving into. And there can be so many nuances, so many different reasons why people are leaving. But from a higher perspective, the soul, the consciousness that is in the body, is actually choosing to move out. And there might be a very good reason why, even though we may not see it while we're in the experience of it. So our task then is to actually meet the people, to see them, to understand them, to let them understand that moving through the emotion, feeling the emotion, and letting it just float through is very helpful. That in and of itself will awaken a lot of people, but also holding that higher perspective. What we are asked to do in the time coming is to stand in the midst of human emotion, feeling and seeing it all, because by that we are creating ripples. In this period that we are in now with this call to action, we are really opening a lot of blockages, if you want, of our creativity. So anything like blocking our creative energy, our sexual energy, our life force. So look at also where you are holding back from showing your light. Because we are being asked now to unapologetically emit the light that we are. With our creations, they've said that see it as dandelions. Each and every one of us are like a dandelion, which also speaks a lot to that color of our solar plexus, the yellow color, the empowerment, actually showing who we are, actually having the empowerment as we're stepping into the world and being in integrity with that when we are expressing ourselves in this world. But also our creations are like the dandelions. They're just popping up, places we could imagine and places we would not imagine that they pop up. And they're just shining. Whether, whether they're wanted or not, they just pop up, they create, they shine. And one creation creates all of these new seeds that then are leading to new inspirations and inspired action in other people, because we are creating ripples by one creation, inspiring someone else. They're using that inspiration and putting their frequency into it, their perspectives, their ideas, creating something new, which then again are creating new ripples. Then with the timeline, 2026, they said that it's a start point of the split that many are talking about. Now, this can have many different perspectives, okay? So, depending on from what perspective you look at it, you can say that we are already in that split. You can say that we have been for a while, but what they said in this channeling is that the start point of the real split is 26. This I will come back to in another video talking about that split. But I would say for now to not attach too much to it, because it's so easy to create a story or a narrative around it that we attach to and that we hold on to. And we have this fixed idea, which is actually the opposite of having an open mind. But the more that we are creating the new, the more that we are in the new and are releasing anything that is, old beliefs and energetics holding us to that old, and we're at the same time standing in the midst of all the human emotion and feeling and seeing everything around us, continuing to hold our light in that and create with that joy, with that creativity, excitement, the curiosity. We are actually standing in a new reality at the same time as the old exists So it's not as much a split in the 3D sense that it's very easy for the brain to start thinking of. Yeah, so just don't attach too much to that idea or need to sort of analyze or grab onto it. This is just for a brief understanding of a possible timeline that we are moving through. They also said, and this is quite exciting, I think, they said that there is potentials of new species to be found in nature in 2026. So I'm curious about that one. Then they said in 2027, a lot of things will go in a new direction. And then in the period from 26 to 32, 33, it's integration. There will be a lot of new systems in place when we have integrated this. So around 32, 33, a lot of the new systems will be in place, and the new children will have started to make a real impact, which is, you know, that energy, a lot of the ideas that are creating the new systems. So there's a lot of changes and transformations happening in the physical now, in our very human experience, that are leading to these changes that are actually creating that new world, or that new earth. The most important is always to take whatever is right in front of you, and to use any energy of the emotion you're in, use any inspiration, start stepping into that courage of acting on the inspiration, taking inspired action. And wherever we're sort of holding ourselves back, or we're meeting or, you know, bumping against any old belief of that we can't do this, or we shouldn't, or it's not good enough, or, you know, whatever that thing is that you tell yourself, remember that that is popping up now for you to release it, for you to transform it, because that energy is not going to come with us in the new creations. Let me just have a look at my notes. Yes, let me just check in. Yes, they say, remind the human of letting the energy move both in and out now. So going deep within, really seeing, really feeling, really letting yourself transform. Now I can say from my own experience, my patience is being tested again. And they are repeatedly telling me to take my mind out of what I'm experiencing and come back into my body, because I tend to go into my mind. I want to, you know, understand it, I want to analyze it, I want to find a solution, and I want to move forward. But now there's so many changes that are happening that I, you know, just need to breathe into my body. I need to come back. I need to have that patience, and really choose again and again to not go into, you know, old beliefs, old fears, anything, because everything, like anything that is of that really, like the core yuck that we have experienced or that we have believed, or that we've been working through, like if there's anything left of it, now it's going to come to light. So go inside, let yourself have that time, let yourself meet yourself, love yourself enough to actually meet yourself and to create that space at the same time as you're challenging yourself to step out there. So you're challenging yourself to start creating, to act on inspiration, and to remember to unapologetically emit your own light. I hope this is helpful for you guys. Thank you to anyone commenting. I really appreciate any comments, anything you're sharing. And thank you for sharing the videos, subscribing, liking. It really helps the message to come out there. So I'm really grateful for that. It's a great help for me. Hope you guys are doing well. Take really good care of yourselves and have compassion for everyone around you, because remember, they're moving through the exact same thing, just in another experience. And I hope to see you soon in another video. Yes, I think that was so. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.